Good morning. Good Sunday. It's November 2024 has flown by. Good morning, small wildflowers. Look at us. We are all chipper and ready to go this morning. Okay, so I've decided to do a little something different today because I'm just getting sick of routine. So I'm not going to do angel readings. I'm going to do a 4-card tarot spread for each sign this morning. So hopefully you like that. I'm going to use the Wild Reflections Tarot deck. So there you go. Good morning, Katerina. Thank you for asking about the Amazon store. I don't have one, but I will look into it. I now have this person who's helping me. I don't know if you've noticed with the videos, we have beginnings with music and then ends, and it's getting all fancy. Oh, and I'm supposed to announce to you all, we opened an Instagram account, Teri Hunter _. So you can check out my Instagram account where we'll have all sorts of information. We're going to be putting a lot of what we're calling staple content. So I'm going to start, I've been thinking about starting with the moon, because you know how I'm so insane about how the moon really rules us. So I'm going to go through each house or sign rather, and do an individual video on that. But be on the lookout. Next week, we're going to publish the Love and Money Tarot for December. Then we'll be doing the monthly tarot, the monthly horoscopes, which are different, and all sorts of fun stuff. So exciting stuff. Yeah, 4-card tarot spread. I just thought, I don't know. I feel like we've been doing the same things forever, and I need some new energy, new symbolism. So, all right. So let's talk about this week. Good morning, Pixie. Good morning, Nikki. I said good morning to Katerina. Okay, great. I got to tell you, Mars and Pluto. And if you haven't looked at the Pluto entering Aquarius video, little plug there. But I'm telling you, this is the biggest thing in the skies right now. Good morning, Crystal. Oh, I love it when we see our world community coming together. I should say good evening in New Zealand, I believe. It's Monday there. Happy Monday morning. Okay, so we had the full moon in Taurus. Saturn has gone direct last week, which I think is very significant. And Pluto this week re-enters Aquarius. Oh my goodness. Okay. When I tell you that I think that Pluto and Mars are still in an opposition. Mars is in Leo now, and it's going to go to 5 degrees. 5 degrees, 6 degrees. And then it's going to retrograde on the 6th of December. This is really significant because, and I use that term a lot. I've been listening to my own videos and I say the same thing. This is so significant. This is so significant. I got to find new adverbs or adjectives. But it is because Mars and Pluto in an opposition, they are fighting with each other. And I'm telling you, I think Pluto wins most of the time. And the reason I think Pluto wins is because Pluto is used to being out in the solar system in the darkness, right? The furthest away from the sun. And it's like this psychological gangster. Pluto in its most challenging energy is harsh. It's cold. It's unyielding. And so here in the opposition to Mars, it's like yelling at Mars saying, Mars, is what you're doing working for you? Like, tell me about the self. Because Mars, when it was in Cancer, was feeling frustrated. It wasn't able to fully express itself while it was in fall. Then it moves into Leo, where it's nice and warm and hot in Leo. And it's like, okay, I feel my mojo now. And these two are still fighting it out because Pluto's asking Mars over and over again, do you really think that anger and resentment is working for you? Is it justified if you can't do anything about it? Like if it never ends? If it's just one chronic thing and you focus on it, is that really working for you? So this is the big fight. And when it goes back into Cancer, it's going to be about the home. It's going to be about how I take care and I heal myself and my family. And so, be prepared. It's a big deal. The sun will enter Sagittarius this week. So we're in the last days of Scorpio. And let me wish my Scorpios a happy birthday. And we are preparing for a Mercury retrograde. And this, this Mercury retrograde, again, I think I put out a video on it. If not, it's scheduled and it's coming out. So watch that for that. But this Mercury retrograde will go over the great attractor 3 times. And right now it hit it the first time on the 7th of November. And then it will hit it again on, where are my dates? I'm sorry. It hit it exactly on the 13th of November. It will hit it retrograde on the 5th of December and direct on the 27th of December. Now, this is important. I was going to say significant. This is important because when you take time in those few days, especially when you're in a 1 to 2 degree orb, and you take time to write your intentions, to say to the universe, this is how it feels when I have the job I want, the relationship I want, the financial dynamic I want. And may I suggest that you take the alphabet A to Z and you put an adjective for each letter, describing joyfully and excitedly how you will feel. And the universe will start to align this together and bring in the elements. Because as we harness that energy of the great attractor, and now Mercury transit is powerful, but it's also powerful in your natal chart. And I believe the orb is 5 to 10 degrees. The tighter the orb, the more influential it is and the more prowess you may have in this. So when you use affirmations, and you say to the universe, I am a harmoniously wealthy, financially free, spiritual healer and teacher. All of my needs are met and provided for at every moment. Money comes to me easily and often, and I'm enjoying my journey. This is very powerful medicine. So, because I do think that in the coming months, and in the Pluto enters Aquarius, I focused on the transformation of the United States. And I did a quick 6-month pop, like what's going to happen over the next 6 months before Pluto retrogrades and goes back from 3 to 0 degrees of Aquarius. This is so, I almost said it again. I'm getting a little freaked out by the word significant, but it is, because it is literally it's going to give us clues as to what's going to start to happen and moving forward. And I looked ahead, and in 2028, in November, when the United States is going through another presidential election, Pluto will be conjunct the United States South Node in Aquarius. The South Node ruled by Uranus in the 6th house of Gemini, right under the descendant. It's going to be interesting. So I bring all this up because as you pay attention and you really start to say, okay, I'm going to put my focus on my deeper truth. What do I want to experience? This I got to tell you, when I turned 50, I really had a mind melt. Okay. And now it's been 15 years since I turned 50. And for the majority of those years, going on 11 and a half, I have worked for myself doing the work I love. And it seemed impossible. It seemed crazy. Like when I was a younger person, if I told somebody that I wanted to be a reader, I wanted to do astrology when I grew up, they would say, you're a nutbag. And look what I get to do, and look how I get to live my life, because I harnessed the energies of the universe to support my work and to support the upliftment of humanity. So my little drop in the ocean. Katerina, he is a Gemini sun, but one of the most interesting, hi, Stephen, good morning. Hi, Jules, posted up, good morning. 145 Club, good morning, sorry. One of the most interesting things, I've looked at Trump's chart. He is a 29 degree Leo rising. That is on the fixed star Regulus. And J.D. Vance, I believe his sun, or one of his personal significant planets, is at 27 degrees of Leo, which makes Donald Trump's first house mostly Virgo, to be of service, to implement processes. And I think it's interesting because the way that he has shown up, a lot of people, dislike him. They think he's arrogant and, all that, but he's on the star of emperors. And I get it. I get it. His South Node and his moon are in the first house of the United States, Sagittarius. He's very impassioned by this country. So, but anyway, I'm just telling you, because it's interesting to look at the charts. Very, very interesting. Kamala Harris has a Gemini rising, and her nodal structure is on her ascendant and descendant, where her Gemini rising houses her North Node, and her Sagittarius descendant houses her South Node. So she's been on the mountain before. She's been in that Sagittarian energy. And here she was meant to come down in this lifetime and be with the people. So it's interesting. I want to say that's 145 Club. That could very well be the Pluto Mars opposition, because one of the things that Pluto will do in the opposition is to challenge Mars's actions, to say, are you really coming from a deeper truth? Are you, is this, because sometimes without inadvertently, Mars is interesting because Mars likes to be a leader, and you can't lead if nobody's following you. And yet Mars can be a little bit, run amok. So Mars has got to sort of hone the skills of leadership, of being a pioneer, of being a hero. And when it traverses through Leo, another sign of self and expression, it feels comfortable there. But when it goes back into Cancer and it has to actually address other people's emotions, that's where the power lies, actually, for Mars, is to learn the energy of Cancer, to trust the instincts, to I got a hair somewhere, sorry, it's tickling me, and to see where, even though you're right about a situation, does it serve you to just remain pissed off about it? Oh yeah, Uranus conjunct the full moon. There's so much crazy going on right now. Sarah Sanderson. She's a comedian. Yeah. Okay. We're going to start our readings now. Are y'all ready? We're going to start with Scorpio this time instead of Sagittarius. So I'm not going to jump ahead. So happy birthday again to all my Scorpios. This is starting though with Scorpio rising. Then we go Scorpio moon, and Scorpio sun is my last thing. Now I want to offer this, because if you do know your ascendant degree or your moon or sun, and you're in an early degree Scorpio, you're going to feel the square to Pluto, and it's going to hover around for a while. I personally am thrilled to death that it's moving off of me. I have had this squares for, I swear, 5 years. I'm going crazy. Oh, 145. That could bring some real genius out of you. That could bring some real, and some, I've had it up to here, I'm not doing this anymore. It could have a lot of that. And if it was on your ascendant, then there's something you're birthing about yourself. Now, the thing we think about Uranus is not just about, space. It's not just about, it's about innovation. Okay. It's about a 2.0 version of something to make it more efficient or make it more, aligned to a new vibration. When Uranus went over transit my ascendant is how I ended up being Teri. I was always Teri, but I literally had a job. I could not take this little bitch anymore. And she said something to me and I just had it up to here. And I flipped out. I didn't flip out there. I flipped out in my car on the way home for lunch. I called an old boyfriend and I said, literally, will you give me $5,000? That was like $50 to him. He's quite a rich man. And I said, I can't do this job anymore. I need to be authentic to what I am. And I quit my job. Now, I'd been doing the readings and I've been doing fairs and I've been building my clientele for about 3 years when that happened. But it was very, very powerful for me. And thank God I didn't know about the transit at the time, because I think I would have been afraid, but I wasn't. So it may be the most beautiful thing that ever happened to you. If you're a 26 degree, I'm a 26 degree Aries rising. That makes my first house mostly Taurus, which makes my second house mostly Gemini. And what are my skills? My skills are talking. So really, I love Placidus more and more, but for the sake of these readings, we do whole sign just to keep the people who don't know astrology that well, we don't want to confuse them too much. So, but it's very important to know if you're in those last 20 degree, I'm sorry, if you're anywhere from say 25 degrees to, or higher, your first house is really the next sign over. It just is. And if you look at your own habits, you'll see yourself that way. My Taurus, I'm very Taurian in many ways. Okay, here we go. We're going to do tarot card readings today. 4-card spread, and I'm starting with my Scorpio birthdays. Happy birthday, happy solar return, happy Pluto square. God bless you all. Oh. Again, I'm using Wild Reflections Tarot. And I apparently don't know how to shuffle very well. Okay. Our first tarot card for Scorpio is the Sun. The second is the King of Wands. The third is the Hanged Man. And the final is the Three of Pentacles. All right, so the Sun is where everything grows, where everything shines, where we're looking at, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, there's a young boy that is on a little white horse. It's Apollo, and behind him is a cement wall, and the sunflowers are growing over it. So when I look at the Sun, I feel like that cement wall was a period of time when Scorpio might have been feeling a little bit in the dark, and now the Sun is shining, and it's time for you to ring your drum. That's very Leo, to go to the beat of your own drum. Now we see the King of Wands. To me, this is very much, it's the fire signs. It's very Sagittarian. So this is looking to the future, opening up on how potentially you want to create wealth. You want to create a sense of financial flow. And I say this because when I look at the King of Wands and I think of Sagittarius, I think of the idea of business and commerce. And I think about the idea that, as we move into greater levels of technology and potentially robots take over some of the more mundane tasks of the human existence, it will give everyone an opportunity to be more Uranian and express their genius. But for now, for my Scorpios, in the angel's advice, is a time of reflection. It's a time to sort of allow things. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it feels very much like the guy things have turned upside down. But here we see this is intentional. This is a yoga pose. This is intentionally putting myself in a position where I must address my emotional body. That's what the waves are in the background. And while Scorpio is a very passionate sign, it can also be a little bit, it's a fixed sign. So sometimes when Scorpio has been hurt, it can hang on to that hurt and inadvertently interrupt a path that Spirit's trying to open up, because here is potential for a new job. The Three of Pentacles is here. This is always where there's Mars and Capricorn energy with this card. And I feel like this could be a collaboration of some kind, or working with a team, or creating a dynamic that's more aligned to Scorpio, in an authentic way, and allow to open up for something new to come in. So let me offer this, because it is your solar return. And I think it's important to declare to the universe maybe what you want this year to be about. Maybe part of what this Three of Pentacles is not working with man, but working with Spirit in a collaboration, so that your leadership skills can come out and you can feel more aligned to the passions of your heart. But I do think that Hanged Man is indicating a time of reflection and potentially looking at things slightly deeper than you might have initially, There's a little bit of a challenge with Scorpio, because if you're afflicted a little bit. Like if your ascendant is, obviously the ascendant is going to square and oppose, the 4th, 10th, and 7th houses. But if for some reason Scorpio has, let's say, if you have your moon or your sun at 1 degree of Scorpio, or within a 5 to 10 degree of that, you're being tasked to release false attachments. And depending upon what the planet is, will indicate what those attachments are. So if your ascendant is on, let's say, 3 degrees Scorpio, 5 degrees Scorpio, even 10 degrees Scorpio, there's something that you get to do that's egoless about how you assert yourself out into the world. So I think here, this spread is saying for Scorpio that this is a week to focus in on what you want to move forward in the way of your own personal leadership and your personal goals, and to connect with spirit so that you can flesh out a little bit more of the vision of it. I really think this has to do with vision, not just. So let me offer this, Scorpio, because you could be in a situation, if it's, let's say it's a love situation, it could be that sun is also love because it's Leo, but you could be in a situation where you feel, oh my God, the phone's going off. Let me do that. Where you feel as if there's no movement. And it may be that the movement you're trying to make is based on getting away from something versus moving towards something. So I think what Spirit is ultimately saying is they would like you to be moving towards something. That's Mars in Capricorn, the 3 of Pentacles, which is it's exalted there. And that's again about the self. Okay. All right. And Scorpio. Oh, let's just mention real quickly that your ruling planets are in argument, and they've been in an argument for weeks, and they're going to continue to argue for weeks. It's like, it's just, yeah, it's interesting. Good morning, Queen Leo. Did I say hi to Post It Up? Good morning. Oh yeah, there's so much going on. Hi, Lucy Rose. Okay, let's go on to our Sagittariuses. I decided to just do tarot card reading today. I thought it'd be fun. I'm playing, I'm stretching, I'm utilizing new symbols, and just always like to keep myself fresh. Oh, so you have a Uranus opposition. Very interesting. I've had a Uranus opposition myself. Where was it? I'm trying to think. Oh, it was a square. I'm sorry, it's a square. I have, because Uranus is in Taurus at 23 degrees, and my Uranus is in Leo at 20 degrees. All right, Sagittarius, let's see what Spirit has to say for you this week. Ooh, we have the 10 of Swords. Little challenge there. We have the Knight of Swords. We have the Sun again. And then we have the Strength card. Okay. The 10 of Swords is not an easy energy, I will tell you. Yeah. Okay, so you guys all know that I was stuck on a live on TikTok. I was held hostage for like hours where this guy, we thought he was trying to kill himself, and he didn't actually kill himself, but it was drama beyond measure. Now, this is so interesting. I know this guy, and I know our chart, and we have in our composite chart Saturn and Chiron in Pisces conjunct, nightmare, opposite Pluto and Uranus, okay, in Virgo, squaring Venus in Gemini. I say this because the 10 of Swords is like drama beyond measure, and you can be in your own darn house minding your business, and drama can happen over the internet. So you got to turn away, Sagittarius. Ride away from the drama. Go do you. I didn't show you the 10 of Swords. Sorry. This is just too much. The guy is like, it's coming from him at all sides. He doesn't know what to do. It's overkill. It's really, honestly, it is the Pluto Mars opposition. Wherever that is happening in your chart. Let's, I don't want to try to figure out the houses right now, but we know that Pluto is in the last degrees of Capricorn, about to move into Aquarius, and Mars has moved into Leo. But Mars is going to retrograde. So again, paying attention to, because this is like a background tension that could be building. So here you're asked to go your own way, walk away from the drama, take your swords, take your arrows, and go to the beat of your own drum. And here is the Strength card, which is very interesting because we've got a double Leo energy for our Sagittariuses this week, which leads me to believe also that when we think about it, Jupiter's transiting through your 7th house, and maybe Jupiter is still retrograde, isn't it? No, I think, is Jupiter still retrograde? I think it is until December. It is. It's got to go down to 11 degrees. So there could be something going on that is having you rethink some things, the Jupiterian things, meaning, not only about money, but also about your beliefs about yourself, about, there's so many things housed in the Jupiterian energy. And with Jupiter in your 7th house, it's this feeling of having to pay attention to the details of things about your partnerships, about your peace of mind, about your harmony. Now let's, and then we have this Pluto Mars opposition playing out for you. I think for Sagittarius, isn't Leo your 9th house? Yeah. So it could be a double whammy in what you believe about how you can make money, how you can expand, how you can birth a sense of yourself. That Sagittarian energy is very Geminian in the sense of its writing and publishing and branding. So have the strength to persevere through whatever potential anxieties you have. I want to say this, when I first started doing lives and started posting stuff, I had so much anxiety and so much, I found myself making mistakes when I watched videos back, and I was wondering if I was getting old and losing my mind. And then I realized a lot of it was just this underbelly of wanting to make sure I pleased the audience. And while I absolutely want to please the audience, I also know that it's important to be authentic to my viewpoint. And I think the more I was able to do that, the more comfortable I got, the more I resonated, and the audience became like magnets. So I think this is important. So Sagittarius, the week probably starts off a little bit dramatic, but it ends well. Have the strength and be calm. Be calm. Okay. On to our Capricorn's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Good. I had actually a better week than I've had in a while. I finally got focused again. I prayed a lot about not worrying about this person who's, literally dying. And then I started thinking, we're all dying, man. He just knows the date or the potential date. And I don't want to live worrying about dying. I want to live alive. So I refocused. And prayer really helped, because I think Spirit was working on me in my sleep, because I'd go to bed feeling a little melancholy and I'd wake up feeling much better. All right, here we go. Here we go for our Capricorn's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Well, you know what? Intend for it to get published, Stephen. Hope is outside of yourself. Faith and intention are inside of yourself. So that's how I go. All right. And I love my grounding sheet. For those of you, I'm telling you, that thing is the best thing I ever bought. And I'm going to say it until I literally can't speak again. All right. Capricorn, your first card is the 2 of Swords. A decision will be made. Oh, there's the Knight of Swords again. Interesting. 8 of Wands. Information is coming through. And the 2 of Cups. Well, Capricorn is going to be making a decision about something, and it could potentially have to do with something you love. So let's look here. The 2 of Swords, not only does she have to make a decision, she's taking aim. Do you see Tangled in here? Did you guys see the Disney movie Tangled, where she goes for her own hand? She's this redhead. I think this is making a decision based from your heart and taking aim and not taking any prisoners. There's no wobble in this energy for me. She's very much sure of herself, even though she cannot necessarily see what's happening with her eyes, going her own way. Again, when we talk about the swords or here arrows, we're talking about thought. We're talking about focused thought. We're talking about that our thoughts are things, and worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve us. So here comes sort of this information that helps you move your own direction, go your own way. And I want to offer this because the decision may have something to do with coupling, and it may have something to do with, and it doesn't mean that you're in a relationship. It could very well be that you want to have somebody who's, you want to meet somebody, or you want to come into a collaboration. The Two of Cups is an offering of energy of some kind. And I think for my Capricorns, especially those late degree ones still experiencing Pluto in your first house, you could make a decision that, you want certain things in your life that you never wanted before, things that you love. And you become, more open to the exchange with something very different and new, because these characters are very different. You can infer that just through their skin color that they were raised differently or had different, experiences, but yet they're coming and they're exchanging energy. So I think that this is, for my Capricorns, a decision that you make where you assess if there's an exchange of energy and if it is actually working in the way that you want an exchange of energy. For decades, people have they've given up their time for money in the form of a job. And somewhere along the line, it gets sort of aberrated, and you start thinking that you need the job because, there could be a fear of change or a fear of your skills or a fear of evolution. Here, it feels like that fear has subsided. It feels like you're ready. So congratulations. Yeah, no status quo anymore. I think now we're Capricorn. I'm excited for you because as Aquarius is your second house, you're going to experience yourself in a whole new way with your skills, with your sense of self-worth. And that duty that you feel is now going to be assessed because it's the duty that you have passion about. So if you want to do something for someone else, it won't be because you feel I have to, but because I want to. Welcome, Sunny Honeycutt. I didn't see you in the room. Good to see you. It's been a while. All right, we're going to go on to our Aquarius's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. When I think about my life history, right? I had Pluto in conjunct my whole life up against all my personal planets. The only planet that it was never conjunct to was my moon. My moon is in that first house of Taurus. And if I would have known through all those dramas and traumas and betrayals and abandonments, I literally probably would have tried to check out. So I'm really glad I didn't know about that. But at the same time, now that I know about it, I feel like I'm being tasked by my own soul to create wisdom from the destruction. And this is where I'm going with this. Because Aquarius, as this goes into your first house, something will deconstruct. And it doesn't have to be negative. My deconstruction was working for somebody else. That was pretty cool. Well, welcome. Oh, I don't even know how I'm going to say that. I'm going to try. Deshadi. Welcome in the room. Okay, let's get on to our Aquariuses. Oh yeah, the transformation is, you cannot. If you think about it, I'm going to talk a little here. If you think about, because I believe that the soul chooses its time of birth. Even if these days you do a C-section, it's all kind of played into the script. So if you choose the time of birth, then you are choosing the landscape of your natal chart. The squares, the trines, the sextiles, the quincunxes, they're all part of the landscape to help you become a more effective co-creator. So what apparently I did as a soul was like, I'll do a master class. I want Pluto to conjunct everything on me and just kill me over and over again. And yet here I sit today in total, even though this last couple of weeks was honestly a shit show for a while, I got everything I need. Lucky is doing great right now. His allergies are clean. I've got this help that's helping me build my client. When I turned away from my habitual darkness, which was distracting, and moved over here, which I didn't do effortlessly, things started to open up again. So Pluto has a great gift, but you're tasked with extracting that gift through the muck, like dropping your wedding ring in the toilet. You got to go through the shit to get the diamond. All right. Sorry. Sometimes I just get a little Jupiterian. All right, here we go. Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. All right. Our first tarot card is the Seven of Pentacles. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. Then we have the Five of Wands. And then the Two of Wands. Okay, so the Seven of Pentacles is very much about you've grown something. You've spent time nurturing it. You've been watering it. You've been coddling it, making sure it grows big and strong. And now in this deck, you're ready to make a decision about what to do with what you've been growing. Now, it's interesting here because the opportunity and or the obstacle is not to allow yourself to get stuck, because this is competition. The Five of Wands represents some sort of competition. Now, Aquarius, I want to offer it this way because, you know, there's so much innovation in the Aquarius energy. There's so much excitement. I just thought of Steve Irwin. He had a stellium in Aquarius. And while he was focused on animals, he was electric and he was very, inspiring in his movements, because I think what's happening for Aquarius is really looking to the future. You know, this is Aries, the sun in Aries. And I think the Two of Wands is actually starting to look further into your future versus where you think you are now. This could be where you're afraid on some level that, you know, when I started astrology, there are people that had studied for decades and they were afraid to start a channel. I studied for weeks and I started a channel. I made a huge mistakes one time on the Taurus Scorpio axis, and not anybody noticed except one person. And I started to realize that it wasn't what I was saying, it was what I was saying. It was a difference, because I think you have something to offer. And I think when you go into your future and you look to what you want, you're a leader. And now is a time to really trust that what you've been building, because that little bit of Aquarius can be like, I'm going to get exiled. I'm going to get, stuck out. Like, I'm going to be jettisoned. It's kind of it's a little bit, it's such a compassionate sign for humanity. And yet it feels very lonely on the inside sometimes. And I think this is about turning away from that, which holds you stuck, not worrying about competition or other people's opinions, and keeping your eye on what it is that you want to experience moving forward. Steve Irwin, yeah, he was truly lightning. I mean, he was so electric that just you hear him start to speak like 3 sentences and you're like, wait, I need to watch this guy. What's he talking about? All right. Now, I also just want to say real quickly that early born Aquariuses, you're going to feel this is, you're the first wave of Aquarius. And Pluto's going to go over those first 3 degrees, and then it's going to retrograde, and you're going to be revisiting something. So knowing that as you're walking through its forward motion gives you an opportunity to really express your genius, to really kind of go outside the box of what the possibilities are. Now, I want to offer this too, because as an Aquarius, knowing Mercury is going to go over the great attractor at the end of this month, or I should say in December, It's already gone. It was on the 13th. You can now utilize Mercury's energy to start to attract the things that you need, tapping into the universe, universal laws, and starting to build a momentum so that when the retrograde comes back, you're fine-tuning things. All right. Now we'll go on to our Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Pisces is having a little bit of a time right now. Saturn has just moved direct. We've got Neptune in the last degrees of Pisces, and we're going to have a nodal change at the end of the year, and the North Node and Saturn and Neptune are all going to have a series of conversations because Saturn is moving forward. It's a time to dig deep into what's important to you, Pisces, because the feeling of wanting to escape will become very, very powerful for you. And any planets that you have in that first house are going to be challenged. They're going to be challenged in a way that says, first Saturn's going to challenge you and say, what are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to be disciplined to? Because Pisces is like, well, wait, I don't want to commit because I need to be helpful over here. And, oh, I feel so sorry for that guy over there. And, you could be kind of so empathetic that you're swimming all over the pond. Okay. Now you're going to have to be kind of determined about you, Pisces rising, the self, Saturn. Hey, I did Sag. Pisces rising. Saturn is asking you right now to make yourself a priority, your creativity, your sense of connection to the divine. There's so much here that will almost be sort of a real fork in the road, because the energies of repression that Saturn can give and the energies of Neptune being erosive can sometimes really pull on that and make you feel like, what's the point? But I want you to know that every minute of a lifetime matters, because you don't end, you continue on. So whatever the last, energies you were are going to be the starting point for the next incarnation. All right. So here we go, Pisces. Woo. I want to say this too, because if I was a Pisces, and I'm not, I don't have much energy. I don't have any energy in Pisces, I don't think. I don't have any planets in Pisces. But I want to offer this. You could use a grounding sheet, okay? Literally. Right now, you could use a grounding sheet. That's a fitted sheet, not a pad. Something you sleep on all night long. Oh, okay. Yeah, got it, Lucy. Okay, Pisces, our first tarot card is the moon, your card. Literally, the moon rules Pisces. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is about your individual expression and building of something. Absolutely. Then we have the Emperor in the Angel's Advice. That's the Aries energy. That's the self expression, discovery. And then the Hanged Man. This is very, very interesting, because the Pisces this is so like back and forth. We've got the howling at the moon, coyote, and then we've got the domesticated pup. And we've got this woman walking a narrow emotional path right now, feeling very potentially confused about where to go. And yet at the same time, here she is. Here are your skills. Here's your individuality. Here is your opportunity to sit on the throne of your own life. And then we go, and there's the Hanged Man. Now I want to offer this, because the Hanged Man is offering reflection. This is a period of time where I think that I just got chills everywhere. This is not a time to try to build something to make money. Yes, you can, but you have to build it on passion first, and the money will come. Your first house is being completely lit up in the months to come. We're going to see, obviously, the faster planets are going to be moving through, but Mercury's retrograde in Sagittarius, which is it's got to be your 10th house, Pisces. Yeah. You're thinking about your career, thinking about how you want to individualize yourself, transferring your pain into some kind of creative project. Because I think that that's what could help you. And maybe starting off a little bit with just journaling. I don't know, with the Mercury retrograde, the Hanged Man is popping up because their emotions are running high. And in many ways, we can twist ourselves because we're paying attention to the emotions, but the emotions are confusing. So the only way to remove the emotion of confusion is to delineate between where the confusion is fear-based, where there's no resources, and I'm afraid, because that's going to be sitting underneath. And Saturn stokes that in your first house. And then the Pluto freaking Mars argument, duking it out, that's just stoking the fires. So I want to offer this. I think this week is best served in reflection. If you're confused, if you're not sure what direction to go in, then allow yourself not to worry about what the direction you're going in, and just recalibrate down to what is most important to you. Because this, to me, is very Saturnian right now. It's pausing. Saturn's going to sit at 12 degrees for a while before it gets ramped up to move forward. And I think that that's an important, because that 12th degree is the Piscean degree. Building that structure, utilizing Mercury as it transits through the great attractor, can really start to bring things into play. All right, we're on to our Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I'll tell you, this 2025 is going to be so powerful with the sign changes. We're going to have Jupiter ramping up to move into Cancer. We're going to have Neptune moving into Aries, which it has not been in since 1862. And if that date does not ring bells in your head, that was the middle of the Civil War. And it was a very pivotal time in the change of direction of the Civil War in the United States. So I just got to tell you, Aries has Chiron in it right now. The United States has their Chiron at 20 degrees of Aries, and it's about to have a Chiron return for the United States. Ooh, boy, I'm telling you. Happy birthday, Stephen, on the 3rd or the 2nd. Well, that's months away. You're still rounding out your... Lucy, happy birthday on the 21st. All right. We're saying happy birthday months ahead of time, All right. We're going on to our Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Thanks for hitting all those likes, you guys. I want a nanny. I don't really want a parent because they'll tell you what to do. I don't really know if I want a partner if he's pushy, but I want a nanny, somebody who will cook and clean for me. Oh, Aries stellium. Okay, very powerful. Here we go, Aries. Ooh, the Queen of Cups. I love that. Is our first card. The 8 of Wands in the opportunity or obstacle. Ace of Wands in the Angel's Advice. And the 2 of Swords. A decision is coming for you, Aries. This is kind of way I like doing the tarot. It's so much more direct. The Queen of Cups is all about, she's very celebratory here. She's water on water, love, 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 but she's very intuitive. And I believe that all the signs, all humans are intuitive, but there are certain ones that don't appear intuitive, but I think they are. And Aries is one of them, because when you go into war, if you're going to live, you've got to learn to be an intuitive warrior. You've got to learn when to duck because you don't know why you're ducking and those kind of things. This is an intuition of some kind to me. Something feels like you know that you've been moving in the right direction. And I want to offer this too for my Aries, because with Mars's battle with Pluto, there is a deep psychological imprint that you have been addressing. And it started way back in 2022 when your ruling planet was in Gemini for 7 months and you were being tasked to look at how you think, how you speak, how you interact. And now with this opposition, let me tell you, Mars cannot be opposite Pluto in Capricorn for the next 248 years. So something huge in these last few weeks has been breaking up. And I think a decision is being made, information is coming through, and a new beginning is being offered. Because if the Two of Swords is, look at that. If this is an Aries energy, I mean, it isn't technically, it's Libra energy, but it looks very Aryan to me. So I think that you are starting to trust your intuitive body more when making decisions. You are knowing that you have a connection to the universe and potentially hearing the sound of the universe within your intuitive body. So as I started to trust the messages, because initially, I did like every other human. How do they come through? Why is this? Is it real? Is it fake? I just stopped doing that. And I started to just trust the information. As the information came through, the validations would come back later. And then I would just let it go. Because I think for my Aries that you're learning to act in a way that is letting you transform. And look at those hummingbirds. Okay. I just feel like when I see those, the two hummingbirds make me feel like I'm integrating different parts of myself. And through that integration, a decision will be made that will, I think, open things up in a more positive way. I'll put it that way. Okay. On to our Tauruses, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. You need a grounding sheet, honey. Small. You won't feel 80 anymore. You'll feel so much better because I'm 65 and I feel 40. I can say that without doubt. Now, don't ask me when I'm looking in the mirror and my hair is frizzing. Then I'll tell you something else. I'm talking to you, sister. Maybe you should just send me the size of your bed and I'll get you one for Christmas. Okay. Whoa. I sent one to the guy up there that lives a little near you. I hope he's using it because, who knows? Anyway, I can't be dealing with the bitter balls. Oh, a weighted sheet. The grounding sheet's totally different. The weighted sheet is like, they do two different things. Okay, I got to get on to Taurus before they all leave the room. They're like, I'm going to leave. This takes too long. Oh, bitter balls. Yeah, that's the guy up there. I think he's just bitter. He's got a 1 degree Scorpio moon on the freaking Shapley attractor, and he's got to get over himself. He's got a freaking Pluto opposition to his sun. He's gone through a series of ego deaths throughout his life. He's just all beat up. That's the good thing about you can look at astrology and know a hard pass when you should. This is a hard pass. I gotta go. All right, Taurus. Oh, we have the High Priestess in the foundational position. We have the 9 of Swords in the Angels, in the Opportunity or Obstacle. We have the 7 of Pentacles in the Angel's Advice, and then we have the Queen of Cups. You could, Taurus, be experiencing a little bit of Uranus's anxiety as it's been transiting the last degrees of your first house. Uranus transit is always kind of unsettling, to say the least, because you cannot predict, no matter how hard you try, where something's going to come out of nowhere. But I want to offer this because Taurus is obviously an earth sign. Obviously, you like to see things in a practical way. And I think it's time for you to start to see your intuitive body in a practical way. Because this High Priestess is really the energy of the Fool coming into the earth plane and still feeling the divinity within. And this will help relieve any worry that you're having about money, about what you're growing, about what you've been growing. I'm a Taurus moon, okay? And, ooh, I thought we just had an earthquake. I don't think so. And oftentimes as a Taurus moon, I can worry about money. Okay, I can worry about resources. This last week, I didn't book that much. The last 2 weeks, you guys know I was going through this whole drama and I wasn't really feeling, work, work, work. But what I did know was that this was a phase that was a secular that I'm allowed to have, because there's something about Taurus celebrating. And there's something about trusting your intuitive body over your emotional, physical body right now. It's almost as if I feel like for maybe the Taurus full moon had something to do with it. Maybe there was an illumination and it's thrown you a little bit off course, or at least you think it has, but it really hasn't, because you've been preparing. And, the earth signs tend to need to see in the material that there is security, and so here I think that this is just a wee bit of a task for you this week, especially to be in your intuitive body and say, you know what? Everything comes to me when I connect with spirit. The high priestess is Piscean. She's not the moon, which is funny. Well, I shouldn't say that. I should say she's Cancerian as well, because the moon in the tarot rules Pisces. But there's this feeling of ascension here, that you're ascending. See the staircases and the trees above? And even though you're worried, I don't think you need to be. If I anxiety to me is some fear bubble underneath of, where something feels unstable. Often though, there can also be, when I started tapping into my intuition, anxiety would be a message sometimes as well. When I would know, I would feel like something was up. Okay, on to our Geminis, rising moon, sun, and stellium. Oops. Now we know that Jupiter's been going through your first house. And this is kind of an interesting thing because, obviously Jupiter is in the furthest house from its home. And yet at the same time, it feels like a huge call to Gemini rising to integrate and balance the details with the bigger picture, with what do I really want? And I've really been seeing Jupiter a lot lately, rather than foreign travel, because it feels like, how often do people actually, unless you're a flight attendant or a pilot, most people don't travel all the time. So to me, this is focusing in on more on wealth expansion and how am I, publishing myself out on into the world, because we all have platforms to publish ourselves now. I mean, there's some I don't even know the name of that people bring up. Rumble is another one, and everybody has this opportunity. So Gemini, you have an integration coming. Your first angel, your first tarot card is the Magician. This is Mercury, your ruling planet. Then we have the moon. Okay, so we have your brain versus your intuition. That's the balance. There's the Queen of Cups again. Look at this deck. Okay, it's pretty fat. How do I keep getting the same cards? There's always a theme. All right. And then finally, the Queen of Wands. Okay. For my Geminis, as Jupiter is retrograding in your first house, it's bringing back some stuff up. And when we look at this Magician, she has the power over the earth plane. She knows how to focus her mind, how to transform. All those butterflies are all about transformation from the dark and into a light. Here is further evidence of that Piscean energy to go deep within. And it's further, three things are giving us this, I feel, this energy of trusting that as above, so below, and your intuitive body. And we see the Queen of Wands. So Spirit is offering Gemini this, to be mindful of what you're speaking and what you're thinking. There's a snake in the foreground of the Magician, and the Magician is actually has dominion over the land. She's not standing in the land. It's like she's the giant within the land. Okay, so the snake offers healing in many ways, as I command the earth plane to bring what I want, and I do this through my connection and my intuition. And I have to, on some level, trust the humanness of me that goes back and forth. Oh, this is bullshit. This is never going to work. What do you mean sit on my couch and tell the universe I want this? But as you delineate that what you want, and you show passion, look at the Taurus energy behind it. Do you see that? This is the Queen of Wands. Normally we think of this as fire, but there's something about fire and earth coming together here. There's something about bringing passion and ideas into the earth plane. And you do that through your focused thought. Jules, one of the people that works at the market, she's a Pisces. And she when I first started playing the lottery, she's like, oh, I would never play the lottery. I can't afford it. I'm like, you have scarcity issues. You talk too much about poverty. You need to be, or I shouldn't say need, you get to be more, thoughtful. So she started thinking about how the universe is working for her, and the universe found her a new apartment really close to work. It's bigger, it's affordable. They gave her a discount on the rent. I saw her the other day. She won $1,000 on a lotto ticket, scratching the ticket. The very last square said win all. And she was at her heart just jumped out of her chest. Because the minute you see win all, you're like, where's the million? Okay, that's my other story. All right, here we go. On to our Cancers, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Not easy to be Cancer with Mars going through your house. I know Mars is in Leo right now, but it's going to be back in Cancer soon. Show me the money. Yes. I haven't had good lottery juju lately. I haven't felt it. So I haven't really played. I wait for that inspired time. All right, here we go. Cancer. Your first tarot card is the Fool. Then we have the Six of Wands, which is wonderful. Then we have the Sun. And we have the Judgment card. Interesting. We literally have the beginning of the tarot, major arcana, and almost the last card. You're going on a journey of something where you're reflecting on yourself. You're going to go on a journey of, if we think about Pluto opposing the last degrees of Cancer, the last degree of Cancer, this is very much about going on a journey of self-discovery, a journey of magic, a journey where, in this deck, there's a fox that is following the girl as she's about to walk off a cliff. The fox is clever. The fox knows how to traverse both the, city life and rural life, because there's victory to be had when you individualize yourself. The Sun, this is victory here in the Six of Wands. There's all sorts of bounty here as this character comes home in celebration. And then this is the beat, going to the beat of your own drum. And when I look at the Judgment card, this feels as if Cancer's saying, you know what? Pluto's done it to me. Pluto's made me realize that these are certain things I want and certain things that I need to express. These are things that bring me peace and joy. The seventh house is, not everybody gets married. Not everybody is in a partnership. So that second house, that seventh house really holds things like diplomacy and, a sense of connection and harmony. So here, I think you're going to go on a journey of individuality, and you're going to start discerning those that work for you and those that may not. And you may just sidestep some of your, or should we say, crab claw or crab crawl away from some people. And that may be because some people are hot around you. I really think things are going to get, I'm surprised things aren't hotter right now, but I think things are brewing in the background. All right, on to our Leos, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Twenty-ninth degree is that master degree of thought for me. It's the Leo degree. It reduces down to an 11. The Leo energy is the leadership energy, the discernment of my own self-expression and my ability to create. Let me know if you guys like the new readings, or if you want me to go back to the old ways. Let me know in the comments, because I don't always get to see the chat. All right, here we go. Leo, the Five of Wands, okay? Then the Three of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Swords. Okay, this is going to be a little bit challenging for my Leos. So we know that you early born Leos are experiencing an opposition already to Pluto. And this is competition, bickering, a little bit of the Five of Wands can be fighting, a little bit of fighting, bickering, not really getting along. And in this deck, there's even a feeling like there could be a little bit of jealousy about creativity. Keep your eye on the prize of what you want to experience. You literally got 2 5s and 2 3s in a 4-card spread. The 3s are somehow telling me to stay the course, that you have something to celebrate about what you're creating, and keep your eye, look to the future, trust your emotional body, trust your intuitive body here, because the Five of Swords is a little bit of a challenging energy. It is where you may have won the competition, but you have not won the loyalty or favor of your opponent. So during this next week, watch your roar. That's all I got to say. If you've been feeling tensions in any relationships, be mindful in how you communicate. Something's going to come back around. And I think it has to do with that Mercury retrograde. And it's being teed up somehow. So if you keep your eye on the prize, Leo, of what you're creating and what you want, you don't worry about the competition. And you also, I don't know, you might want to show a sense of reverence for your win, so that you're not leaving this guy. It's almost like if you look at this, it feels like there's a teammate of some kind, because these two guys are wearing the same clothes. So it could be that Leo, somebody that you interact with, it could be somebody anywhere. That's a Uranus kind of square going on. But for the most part, I would just, I'd try to be soft and empathetic this week. And I would avoid people that piss me off or feel competitive with me. On to our Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, here we go. Virgo. We have the King of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Six of Wands. And we have the Ace of Swords. Virgo, I got to tell you, this is a week. The King of Swords is in this deck is a little hard for me, because he's not emotional. You know, he sees things from Spirit's point of view. That's the eagle represented. He seems to have harnessed that. He's focused. He's got his arrow poised. It's an Aquarian energy. So sometimes, Virgo, what the King of Swords says to me is, I see the big picture. I see where I have to go, and I'm not emotional about it. Yeah, you might want to be a little more empathetic to others. That's where your victory will come through. You've got Saturn opposition, and inadvertently, that Saturn opposition could have, like, depending upon your chart. Again, Saturn's at 12 degrees, but you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel the Neptune opposition. And this Ace of Swords is a new idea. And the new idea, I think, is how you're expressing yourself. I almost want to say that the shadow side of Virgo, and I was just reading about this because I'm doing, the nodes are shifting, and the South node is going to go into Virgo. And that's really going to be about letting go of perfectionism, letting go of, criticism, letting go of, having to do it a certain way and being a little bit too rigid. So I think that this particular week that you will be best served to get the job you want done, whether it be in the home or out of the home, if you're a little bit more empathetic to things. We see this Knight of Cups, and some chess pieces sometimes have to fall, and allowing them to fall can bring a victory. I have Venus in Virgo and I have Pluto in Virgo. And I'm talking about myself too, okay? Because I can be a stupid ass perfectionist. I could be super, it's so weird sometimes. Like I will pick guys who are like so Neptunian. They all seem to have fucking drug addiction. Ooh, did I say that word out loud? Sorry. Issues with addiction or with self-esteem. I don't really have those issues. So I always seem to do that. And it seems odd to me. There's something here about Virgo, because you are a healer as well. So I think we're going to kick into the healer energy here and be a little bit more gentle. And that could even be gentle with your own thoughts. I'll tell you. Okay. On to our Libras, rising, moon, sun, and stallions. Our last sign of the day. And I forgot to mention next week is next Sunday. Let me think, 7 days is the 24th. I believe this is right before Thanksgiving. So I'm probably going to take the Thanksgiving weekend off. I need to find out if that's on this side of December or before it, but I'll let you know. Yeah, trying to save people without even knowing you're doing it. That's totally me. That's totally me. And also picking people who think that I'm too good for them, and so that they prove to me that they're not worthy of me. And then I keep being, but I see what I see. And my Taurus moon is stubborn and loyal. And it's taken me 65 years to not do that. Because some people, they just don't appreciate it. If you have Saturn square Venus in a synastry chart, you're never going to make the Saturn person happy. You'll chase their freaking approval for the rest of your life. I have Saturn square this guy, Chiron conjunct Saturn square Venus. Yeah, we're out. I'm out. All right, Libra, here we go. Ace of Wands, new beginnings. Three of Swords, broken heart. Damn. Oh, the Knight of Swords. That guy went the other way. And there's the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. I almost feel like I shouldn't have been talking. I should shuffle again. I think this Libra, Ace of Wands is new passions, new beginnings, new things will grow. Something's going to smell better too. And I think that the hummingbirds here are about being flexible. The hummingbirds are the only winged animal that can go backwards and forwards, right and left, up and down. Now we have this Three of Swords and this guy that went his own way. I don't know what this is exactly, but this feels like a bit of heartbreak and someone being harsh and rude. And now we have the Ten of Pentacles. I think that this is those last degrees of the South Node going through Libra's first house. If you are an early born Libra rising, you're going to feel that sense of, the South Node pulling on your sense of self. But it also means that the supergalactic center is at 2 degrees of Libra. And as the South Node hits that point, it's going to really task all of us, but Libra, especially my nodal structures there, on demonstrating that you are source energy, that you have the ability to create everything that you need. The relationship with the self is super important. So I think that you're going to have an opportunity, as you have gotten over some kind of betrayal, to have a new position or a new sense of passion, and then something brings stability in. The Ten of Pentacles is a big money card, but it's also all encompassing. It includes family and community and friends. So I want to offer this way too for my Libras. If for some reason you feel something repetitive happening, like, oh my God, this always happens to me, this always happens to me, this always happens to me, pay attention to your thoughts. And if your thoughts are going in the direction you want them to go, or if they're inadvertently in the rearview mirror, looking in your past. Because Libra's Libra tries super hard to be kumbaya, be the peacemaker, and oftentimes they get overlooked. The sun is in detriment in Libra. So when you have a lot of planets in Libra, it's never about you. It's always about how you're creating peace and harmony. Sun, North Node, Mars in Libra. I know all about it. Okay, that's it for today. I think I'll be back next Sunday, but then the next Sunday, we're going to take off for the post-Thanksgiving food coma and shopping extravaganza. Sun in the 12th house of Libra. Okay, Sunny, that's not easy because the 12th house is invisible and Libra is, that's not easy. And it's sort of like one of those things where you will go through a series of recognitions of your ego through your soul's experiences. And it might be poking that sun through the darkness. It doesn't mean you have to hide it. It might mean it's actually more important for you to allow it to shine and in balance for yourself and your own creativity. Okay, that's it for me. So we'll see you. I think we'll see you next week, and then we'll take the week after that off. So that's it. Thanks, everybody, for liking, for subscribing, for sharing. Again, look out. We're going to have the Love and Money Tarots are going to come out this week. Check out the Mars and Pluto Duking It Out video. Check out the Pluto and Aquarius video. Lots of stuff coming. And check out my Instagram account. We're opening things up. We're trying. All right, everybody. I love you. Peace out. I'll see you next Sunday.